women travel differently. In the space of 1 week, I watched my son get married, and 2 days later, I found myself in the boundary waters of northern Minnesota with a canoe and a paddle. This was a guided trip with 8 other women in the BWCA, and during that quiet time, it came to me with some clarity that women travel differently. We experience the world differently, and we deserve a way of traveling that really honors that truth. That is at the heart of this channel, Travel for Women. My name is Randi. I want to use this space to ask each other, what happens when women are truly given space to be themselves? And I think it comes down to us kind of acknowledging and working through these 3 concepts: freedom to feel safe, freedom from caregiving, and freedom from guilt. Let's dig into this a little bit. So let's talk about the freedom to feel safe. This canoe trip that I took into the boundary waters was with 8 other women. And if you're not familiar with the boundary waters, it is a wilderness area that's been set aside. It's only accessible by paddling. So there's no motorboats, there's no cars, no roads, no float planes, no machinery of any kind. The only way to access the campsite is to paddle your little way in. There aren't even hiking trails. There are little trails that go from lake to lake or lake to river that you carry your canoe over, but there's no big hiking trails to get to these campsites. So you are remote. And we were probably anywhere from 6 to 12 miles away from the nearest piece of civilization. And while I was sitting up there on a rock overlooking this beautiful lake, 3 canoes went by with 3 men in these canoes, so 9 men total. And my instinct was to make myself small, make myself disappear, because the thought of 9 men knowing there's vulnerable women at this campsite was really unsettling. It's not an unfamiliar feeling for every woman everywhere. I think I can say that. I was intensely glad that there were 8 other women with me. We were miles from any kind of help. And granted, these 9 men were probably completely wonderful human beings, but we oftentimes don't have the luxury to assume those things when you are a woman. And this is not even up for debate here, at least not here in my channel, because this has been my experience. Between me and some of my best friends, my sisters, we've been chased by cars when we're out for a morning run. We've been followed. We've been stalked. We've been touched in ways we don't want to be touched. It's just the reality. It's sort of like, I feel like we're deer. We're constantly on surveillance. Even if you're not conscious of it, you can maybe show up in my comments and say, I'm not like that. But I would argue that you are. You just don't realize it. Whenever we are out and about, we have a different way of processing. Look, I'm doing my little deer ears. We're processing the world differently than men. And I think men have their own way of assessing trouble. But this is coming from a woman. So this is about my experience. When you're conscious of it, it can be exhausting. It's a sad reality, but not one that I want to dwell on too much here in my channel. It is a reality, though, that we have to face. We want to feel safe when we travel. So it was poignant to me that in this group of women, when I remembered that I was safe, that feeling of being on high alert just kind of went away. It was like being in the world in a different space. I'm amongst women. I felt safe. The only thing I really had to worry about was mosquitoes, getting leeches on my skin, and the bear taking our food. Then we roll into the freedom of caretaking. And this is a stickler because women are caretakers. And you can yell at me in the comments and say that's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype based on a deep truth. We are caretakers, whether it's our parents, friends, loved ones, children, our spouse even. It's ingrained in most women to be caretakers. And I'm not saying men can't be too. We're not going to get into those discussions. Coming from my perspective as a woman, a simple question during this camping trip could be like, hey, did you get enough food? And when I'm asking that to my children, it was, hey, is my child getting enough nutrition? Are they going to go to bed hungry? But in this group of women, the question was more about camaraderie and teamwork. Did everybody get a fair share? It's a different kind of caring for each other. I didn't feel like I had to take care of the other women, and nor did they of me. We each had a role to play. We found our little strengths, and what I was weak at, somebody else was better at. It was a great team building sisterhood that came together on this trip. That maternal worry isn't there when you're not caretaking for other people. So if you go on vacation with your family, in my experience, I'm the one that plans the vacations. And so when I'm planning them, I always have everybody else's list of things they want to do, or so-and-so doesn't like roller coasters, and you're always kind of managing that, right? And although I think a lot of us get a lot of joy seeing our families when we go on trips or we do special things, because it's like a gift we're giving them. But it's pretty radical to take them out of the situation, take them out of this experience, and just enjoy it for yourself. The instinct to caretake just dissolves when you're by yourself or you're with a group of friends. When I first started traveling solo or without my children and just my partner, I found myself a lot of the time saying, oh, the kids would love this, and oh, I gotta tell the kids about this. Still not in my own head about myself. I'm still caretaking, essentially, for other people. And slowly, that starts to fade the more you do it, and especially with this group of women up in the Boundary Waters, it just faded away. And I found myself really reflective and just thinking about me. It's radical, I know. But that brings me to the last piece of this, which is freedom from guilt. And that is a big, big hurdle. Freedom from the guilt of spending money on a vacation that maybe you should be sharing with your family, or the time you should be spending with your family instead of going on a solo trip. But how much time do we spend? I mean, I remember when I was raising my kids, it was 24/7. I didn't have a work break. I didn't have a commute to and from work. I didn't get to mow. I could have, and I started to until a mouse nest came out, the whole thing anyway. But we didn't have a break. We didn't have a labor union protecting us from working overtime, right? So a solo trip or a trip with your friends is it's your paid vacation. It's your paid time off. Take it. It's so important to take care of yourself and to not get bogged down in feeling burned out and resentful. And you've earned it. Let me tell you about my friend Jody. When my kids were little, I had 3 kids, 2 were still in diapers, and I'm talking to her about how exhausted I was and how I just had hands on me all the time and people needing me all the time. And she told me that at least once a year, she would rent a condo up on the North Shore of Minnesota overlooking Lake Superior and go by herself. She would bring books and she would just spend the entire weekend reading books by herself. And this was absolutely radical to me to hear this. And I will admit too that I was like, it's a little selfish of her. But really? Is it selfish to take time out for yourself? No, I'm here to tell you it's not. You have to get over that guilt because you've earned it. We all have. You get one shot on this planet, one. And taking some time for yourself is healthy. It's okay to do. It's probably really important for your mental health. The idea of stepping away shouldn't feel like a luxury. It should feel like an absolute necessity. I was a teacher in a past life, and so I'm going to give you a permission slip. But there comes an assignment with this permission slip, and here it is. Look at your calendar and unabashedly and shamelessly pick out some time on your calendar that's just for you. It can be a day, it can be a morning at the library, it can be a weekend, but you're going to carve that time out right now. You don't even have to decide what it is yet. Just draw a red line through it. Mommy's gone, or wifey is gone, or friend is gone. And whether you're going to be doing a trip to Italy or maybe just a cabin weekend by yourself, I want you to plan something for yourself to get away. This is your journey and you have permission, so take it. Or maybe you're like Jody and you've been doing something like this. I want to hear about it. I want to know what your ideas are, how you take time away to be by yourself. I want you to tell me one small thing you're going to do this month for yourself. And in the meantime, let's inspire each other. Stay safe and come on back. Let me know what kind of things you might want to discuss, and I'll see you in the next video. You're welcome.